Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Thumb on the Pulse. This is our weekly news segment where we talk about news and game industry things and streamer news and all sorts of stuff. And you guys hang out with me while I do a live recording every single week on twitch.tv/thumbspazm. And then you guys, if you missed it, get to go back to YouTube at youtube.com/not thumbspazm and check out my stuff. So if you are happening to watch this later on YouTube, feel free to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell if you want to, and then maybe leave some comments down below. How many times can I point downwards? There's really nothing down there except for my desk right now. Thank you for being here while we talk about news that gets our heart racing. Thanks so much, guys. We're going to just jump right into this immediately. Let's go. Let's get going on this first topic. I'm not going to reiterate anything. We're just going to jump in. Xbox is in the news these days, Microsoft and Xbox specifically. As we've all known, it's been very complicated to get our hands on any one of these next generation consoles. Whether it's any version of the PS5 or any version of the new Xbox, people are having a hard time, whether it's via the internet or in brick and mortar stores, to get their hands on one. Well, a really unique idea that Microsoft's putting on right now, they're introducing a new console purchase pilot program, which allows US players who already own an Xbox One an opportunity to secure a new Xbox Series X or S. Basically, the way that it was stated in all the articles that we could find about it was that not every player who registers will be guaranteed or even selected to participate in this purchase pilot program, because there will be a limited number of slots or spaces available within the program. The idea is, as Microsoft controls the inventory, they can control who gets an Xbox. Ideally, people who are already Microsoft customers are going to be the ones they want to pick to get new consoles, keeping all of the money within the system. In my opinion, it's honestly a pretty brilliant idea to get new consoles out there as they get them, and this completely eliminates any opportunity for third-party purchasers or scalpers or any of those people that are just buying to resell the opportunity to get their hands on multiple units or units at all, in my opinion. Hopefully, this will be ideal to get one person, one console that's actually going to use it. Already having mentioned Sony and PlayStation and their attempts to still be relevant, regardless having limited opportunities to get consoles into people's hands, they're now unveiling two different colors, or new colors rather, of the PlayStation 5 DualSense controllers. The new colors are Cosmic Red and Midnight Black, coming as soon as this June. However, this isn't going to be any sort of change to the coloration of the console themselves. This is merely just a new opportunity to accessorize with your already existing PS5 console if you have one. The CFO, Hiroki Totoki, I think I pronounced that absolutely dreadfully, but we're going to leave it in there. He announced that he doesn't think the demand of the console is going to slow down anytime this year, and even if they do secure a lot more devices and produce many more units of the PlayStation 5 next year, the supply probably won't meet up with the demand. Can we drastically increase the supply, he asks? Probably not. The shortage of the semiconductors is merely just one factor in the ever-present issues growing, trying to build, manufacture, and ship all of these new consoles. So at the present time, again, still within the quote, the CEO of Sony would like to aim at beating the second-year sales goal that PS4 beat at 14.8 million units. I don't think that's going to happen. How can they not meet this year's goals and yet expect to have extra production next year? I don't understand. I really don't get that number. Sony has been struggling lately to keep up with the demand ever since the PlayStation 5 launched back in November. Digitimes claimed that Japanese tech giant was considering a change of design completely to the PlayStation 5 in order to ease up the production stress of the console. So maybe we'll even see an adapted PlayStation 5 come out next year. Who knows? We've talked a little bit about this company in the past in other news sources in regards to other companies suing Apple, but now specifically, we've got some news from Apple. Based on a rumor, and honestly, we try not to report on rumors specifically because we like to have hard facts when we give you guys information, but this one was a little bit too juicy to let go. See what I did there? Apple News. Juicy. Anyways, Apple is secretly developing a Switch-like gaming console that is capable of ray tracing, according to some sources. Potentially, Apple is secretly developing a portable-style console, apparently very similar to the Nintendo Switch, according to rumors originating from a random Korean forum that we had spotted. Take this report with a grain of salt, however, as there's absolutely no hard evidence in the sign of patents or anything like that to support the rumor. The company already has tried to launch a game console. If some of you oldies out there remember, like I do, back in 1996, there was the Apple Bondi Pippin console. Unfortunately for Apple, that console sold absolutely dreadfully and went down in gaming history as just another obscure console to hit the market that most people don't even remember. That console specifically was discontinued after Steve Jobs had rejoined the company and scrapped the entire gaming side of the project. But rumors are that the company is now working on another one. So we'll try to get more information to you guys on that in the future. Back to information about Epic Games and the Epic Games Store. According to a confidential PDF document that was included in the ongoing Epic Apple controversy and lawsuit trial that we've been reporting on for quite some time, PlayStation document states that Epic was awaiting feedback on a potential $200 million guarantee offer for 4 to 6 Sony titles, which would see Epic take the hit on that $200 million if the 4 to 6 titles discussed generated less revenue than that $200 million figure. Well, since Sony's first PC port, Horizon Zero Dawn, debuted on Steam, and the next port, Days Gone, is also coming to Valve's Steam platform, it's possible that the company didn't take up the offer by Epic. In fact, Horizon Zero Dawn sold 716,000 copies in its first month of the port to Steam, roughly equaling about $32.2 million. And that's just in sales revenue, so not profit. However, $32.2 million in a month, and Epic tried to throw a $200 million guarantee at Sony for 4 to 6 titles? Doesn't really seem like a very decent business proposal to me, but that's why the rumors are stating that it appears that Sony hasn't taken them up on that offer. In fact, in a corporate report published last summer, Sony first said it would explore bringing PlayStation exclusives to PC randomly before they were ever to ink a deal with a company like Epic Games Store. Earlier this year, however, SIE's president confirmed that PlayStation will bring a whole slate of games to PC, starting with Days Gone, which is set to release this month. We reported earlier that, in fact, not Epic giving Sony money, but Sony rather has not donated, I shouldn't say that, because they made a purchase, they made a transaction. They made a transaction of $200 million themselves to invest in Epic Games Store. So the fact that Sony's releasing PC games to Steam and has given money to Epic is a pretty clear indication that they're not taking up that 4 to 6 game deal. Another thing I want to mention is that Apple, in these lawsuits with Epic Games, has tried to perpetually prove that Epic, cutting this deal for developers from 30% down to 12%, is in fact losing the company money hand over fist. Which is really funny because they brought out all these fancy graphics and designs and posters to show that Epic's losing money, when in fact Epic boss Tim Sweeney has commented that Apple's spinning this as losing money, but spending now in order to build a great and profitable business in the future is exactly what investment and investments are. It's equally true whether you're building a factory, a store, or a game. And in my opinion, with all the information we've been showing over the last couple weeks, Epic's doing just that, building a quality factory, a quality store, and a quality game. Ubisoft is back in the news as well. Let's pop this story up. Ubisoft's top leadership says the company is prioritizing persistent, free-to-play adaptations of the video game franchises and licenses the company develops, even as its subsidiaries still are building standalone releases to meet blockbuster expectations in February, fall, or holiday release windows. Ubisoft quickly supplemented those statements with others saying that the company is not abandoning a product roadmap that includes tentpole titles like Far Cry 6 and the Rainbow Six Quarantine, but Ubisoft did say that the traditional calendar of 3 or 4 AAA titles a year basically is no longer a proper indication of our value creation dynamics. Going for a more live service model with more microtransactions, this just shows the company is adapting to modern gaming needs or modern gaming demands. This also comes on the heels of Ubisoft announcing last week that its next Division title they'll be releasing, called Heartland, that will be a free-to-play title. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Are you excited that some of these major companies are moving more towards a free-to-play model, having microtransactions within games if you want to improve things like aesthetics and cosmetics? Or would you guys rather pay $60 to $80 for a game and then potentially pay more down the line for a downloadable content package, or potentially pay more down the line for those cosmetics anyways? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's the thing, Cankles, man. I totally understand that free-to-play sucks sometimes, but sometimes it's awesome. And the other thing, too, is there's so many arguments on both sides of the fence that I have absolutely no idea where I stand. So again, comments while we're doing the live show, comments down below in the comment section would be super helpful to see kind of where you guys stand. As I'd mentioned before, and as we've reported before, EA is making tons of huge moves in the gaming, digital download, partnership world. They're just killing it, in my opinion, taking what they have and spreading it amongst a lot of different platforms. EA Play Live is going to be a virtual event that's coming up on July 22nd, where we get to see kind of what big moves they're planning in the future. Not only do I expect to get updates on sports games, mostly like the NFL, NHL, hopefully NBA. Maybe we'll get some MLB news. Who knows? But all their sports titles we'll get information on. I'm not sure if the EA Play Live incorporates other titles outside of the sports world, but with a title like EA Play, I'd imagine it's going to be very focused on those athletic titles. So we'll see. I'll definitely try to be watching it on July 22nd on stream. So if you guys want to join me, hit that link down below to maybe get a reminder. Also, join me on July 22nd. We'll check it out together. We report on a lot of studios all throughout the news, but this week we're going to give you a brand new studio. I feel like the last 2 weeks, we've reported every single week on at least 1 or 2 new video game studios popping up, and this one's no different. This one has heavy hitters at the realm. Former Blizzard developer Matt Skimbari, no idea if that's a proper enunciation, but we sure gave it a shot. He is creating a new development studio. The studio, called LightForge Games, was founded about a year ago and is just now making it known that it is a publicly available company. Skimbari spent over 8 years at Blizzard, followed by a 5-year stint at Epic Games, co-founded by 4 other veterans of the industry that previously worked for a mix of Epic Games and Blizzard. I'm really excited about the announcement of all these new studios because it seems like we're in a wave of smaller studios or independent studios creating the better games, to be honest with you. Moving on from independent, smaller titles or studios to one of the biggest, PlayStation Studios is announcing their PlayStation Player Celebration Weeks. I believe it's a 3-week-long event that tasks the community with taking part in activities to earn exclusive prizes. Sony is holding its annual Days of Play later this month, which means PlayStation owners can once again expect discounts on select software, not just for PlayStation 4, but also announced they'll be including PlayStation 5 software as well now. The way it works is that PlayStation players, be it on their PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, can contribute to these community activities and goals simply by playing video games. Each week consists of a single stage, with the first beginning on May 18th, so it's right around the corner. If you want to participate, get ready. The community must work together to hit a certain set of targets to complete the stage. I wish I wasn't so tainted by America in general, because this sounds like an awesome opportunity to get the community and to get other players involved in different types of games and different types of ideas. However, just in the back of my mind, I know this is some sort of ploy by Sony to make money. New information on new games that are coming out. One of the ones that I'm looking forward to the absolute most, God of War Ragnarok. This game, I'm not done with the first God of War game yet, but everything I've been playing in that game leads me to want to play this next one. So I'm very, very excited about it. God of War Ragnarok was announced on September 16th of last year, but since then we haven't really heard much more about it. At the time of its announcement, it was revealed that God of War Ragnarok, or the sequel to God of War, would be released sometime in 2021, but with fear, because we haven't heard any word from the developers or from any news sources or anything like that, we were not sure if we're going to get this game this year. The safest bet in the rumor mill in regards to God of War Ragnarok is that if we don't hear about this game, it's pretty much a guarantee that we won't see this game released until 2022 at least. So here's hoping we get some trailer or some information on God of War Ragnarok at E3 this year. More news on games being pushed back a little bit. Sorry for these reports. Ubisoft's latest earnings result confirmed that its pirate game Skull and Bones has been delayed yet again and probably won't be releasing until 2022 or even as late as 2023. There have been very few updates concerning Ubisoft's pirate game called Skull and Bones since it was announced back in 2017. And now Ubisoft is confirming that it still will be a year or two until the game's released. Pre-announcement of games, honestly, in my opinion, are killing games. So let me announce some more games that are coming out to you prematurely, before we even know what they're called or before we know what they look like. Let's just perpetuate this, shall we? PlayStation Studio is the king of perpetuation in this regard. having made promises for dozens and dozens of games coming out over the next year. In a recent talk with Wired Magazine, PlayStation Studios head Herman Hulst revealed that Sony's internal group of studios, collectively known as PlayStation Studios, has over 25 PlayStation 5 titles in development currently, half of which involve worlds and players that none of us have seen before. So again, making promises that 12 to 14 titles are going to be brand new franchises. Sony has been no slouch in releasing first-party blockbusters in the recent years, but the PlayStation company finds itself kind of in an arms race with Xbox right now. After acquiring big-name games and studios like Skyrim from Bethesda, and then the EA Play agreements, potential agreements with Ubisoft Uplay in the future, and Tim Schafer's Double Fine Productions, the Xbox team suddenly has a huge lineup on their own blockbusters ready to compete with Sony's offerings. Host used to work for Guerrilla Games, which is an internal studio within Sony, and part of a team that were making a PS5 title for 2021 called Horizon Forbidden West. Even he's surprised by how his former team was able to take advantage of Sony's new hardware and navigate the tricky waters of developing their game during the global pandemic. So let's see how many of these 25 proposed titles Sony can get out within the next couple years. That's what I'm curious to see. Speaking of Xbox and Bethesda's relationship, Xbox claims it's working on an unannounced new IP that, in their opinion, and to perpetuate the ridiculous announcement chain, in their words, will quote unquote blow your mind. A quote from a representative from Xbox and Bethesda has been stated saying, "That's why we made the investments that we have. We have 23 studios across Xbox and Bethesda working on Halo, Forza, Fallout, and now a brand new IP that we haven't even talked about yet that, again, stated, is going to blow your mind. We can deliver all of that into Xbox Game Pass on day one." So far, some notable day one releases that we have seen for Xbox Game Pass include games like The Outriders, MLB The Show 21, The Medium, D&D Dark Alliance, and potentially Psychonauts 2, plus more that I couldn't find or couldn't remember. So the fact that these guys are intending on putting all these new titles plus this new IP out on day one is just awesome. Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in March that delivering exclusive games for platforms that support Xbox Game Pass was the primary reason that Microsoft purchased Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax in a $7.5 billion deal. I think this was a great investment. Dark Alliance is going to be hype, Kankle. I'm pretty pumped for day one too, man. I mean, all these day one releases that Xbox Game Pass is putting out in general, not to mention the ones that they're going to bring out with Bethesda, just puts them leaps and bounds over all the other game companies, game selling stores, and consoles, in my opinion. But y'all already knew that I was an Xbox fanboy. Gears 6 has been in the news a little bit recently as well. More rumors, more little bits and tids that we got for you. The latest news we've gathered, however, on the new Gears of War 6 game is that it's going to be run on the Unreal Engine 5, which is different from the older games, which all up to this point have been on the Unreal Engine 3 platform. As it's still in the first stages of its development, it's going to be some time before we see the game released. However, you can dang well expect to hear more news about it in the future because the Gears series is one that I hold near and dear to my heart. So we'll definitely be giving you more information and more news as it comes out. And I know we don't report on this game much. We just needed to get this information out there. So we might as well bring you the news that we can. Call of Duty's in the news lately because they're coming out with a new game. I don't know how I forgot that COD is a yearly release title, but I did. And we're already looking forward to the next one. More rumors, so again, keep all of this in your mind with a little bit of grain of salt. Call of Duty 2021 may not have its own multiplayer mode, is the rumor going around the rumor mill. While a lot of rumors have been circulating about Call of Duty 2021, or as Wikipedia and some other sites have tentatively called it, Call of Duty World War II Vanguard, games industry insider Jeff Grubb has reportedly heard rumors that the new Call of Duty title may not have a multiplayer mode at all of its own. Grubb did make a statement in a new video that he uploaded on his YouTube channel where he reports that the game is experiencing major problems on the multiplayer side of the development. The new Call of Duty title has already had rumors of troubled development come out before this report, and Grubb says that those problems most certainly pertain to the game's multiplayer mode. Also stated through this video, rumors have been heard about the remaster of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer game mode, and may be used as a complete substitute for this new game's multiplayer mode. Honestly, not a lot of concrete evidence is out there aside from intuition and rumors. Hopefully at E3 we'll get some clarification as to what this new game's going to look like and what the new multiplayer might look like. Some news on some games that are coming out that we may not have heard of or may not have expected. Scarlet Nexus is an upcoming action role-playing game developed and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. It looks intriguing. I don't want to give too much away because the demo is set to arrive later this month, coming first to the Xbox Series X. The preview demo would be launching on May 25th for Xbox Series X and S, and May 28th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It's slated to be released in its entirety on June 25th. We're going to go ahead and link that description down below so you guys can check it out yourselves. Another one I wanted to talk about because Nier has been in the news a lot lately, especially in our reports. Nier Reincarnation is a new title that's coming out in the Nier franchise. Nier Reincarnation has a new English language trailer and is now available for pre-registration on Android and iOS devices in Europe and North America. This will be a mobile spin-off, which most likely will remain faithful to the melancholy spirit of the main series, specifically because Yokotaro is still working on the project. And another one that we may not have heard of yet, but of course we've got our lovely and wonderful researcher Eternalfoxfire to keep our thumb on these types of pulses. This one's called Flowstone Saga. Flowstone Saga is a Japanese RPG with a Tetris-style combat, and it's going to be coming to the Switch. This game promises a grand story with lots of characters to meet and a, quote, epic, adventurous soundtrack, among other things, which is targeting a 2022 release date. The combat will now incorporate a Tetris-style mechanic in which you clear lines to land attacks on enemies. More new releases you should be aware of, and we wanted to make sure that you knew when they came out and what titles they were, starting with Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. That one was released May 10th on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the DLC called Wrath of the Druids, came out for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Google Stadia, I think, maybe. On May 13th, Famicom Detective Club came out for the Switch on May 14th. Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, came out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One on May 14th. Quantum Replica came out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch on May 14th as well. Subnautica 1, as well as Subnautica Below Zero, came out for the Switch on May 14th. Subnautica Below Zero was also released for all other consoles, including the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, as well as PC, I believe, because that's where I played it on May 14th as well. Do you guys know what my favorite part of the news is? Do you know what my favorite part of the news is? I think you do know what my favorite part of the news is, and that's the free games, baby. I'm gonna eventually have a song about the free games coming up. You're gonna hear about the games that are coming up that are free. Okay, that's the best song I could come up with at that moment. Free games, babies. Free games. We have a list of free games here in front of me. Now, granted, we're going to draw these free games from a lot of similar places, including Xbox Game Pass and the Sony Store, as well as Epic. However, there was one that we wanted to make sure you were aware of specifically. First and foremost, Epic's free game this month from May 13th to May 20th is going to be The Lion Song. Also, in about 4 more days from today, which is the 15th of May, there's going to be a secret free game available, so we'll be reporting on that one next week. A game called Raven's Pass is available on the App Store in the iOS as well as Google. It was previously $5, but now it's a free mobile game that's available now. Xbox Game Pass, as previously mentioned, has tons of free games, but as of May 13th, a few new ones came to light. Final Fantasy X, as well as its sequel, Final Fantasy X-2, their HD remastered versions are available right now on Xbox Game Pass. Just Cause 4 Reloaded, Psychonauts the original game, and Red Dead Online, all available on Game Pass. Just a reminder, we've said it before, but go get them now. Yeah, bro. Downloading now? I know, right? I totally got Final Fantasy X and some of the other ones already. I'm super pumped. And this is why we do the news. This is why we do the news. Last few stories of the news today. Again, I appreciate you guys being here this far. We're nearly done. Layers of Fear 2. Last week we had touched a little bit on Layers of Fear, the original, and how its intention to be on VR is coming right down the line. Well, Bloober Team, the developer of these games, has announced that Layers of Fear 2 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, with the handheld version porting to stream later this month. Back in 2019, Layers of Fear 2 was launched, which offered a absolutely terrifying narrative-focused adventure aboard an abandoned ship. The port will launch on May 20th 20th and is currently 10% off when players pre-order it from the Nintendo eShop, reducing the price from $29.99 to $26.99 US. Keep it in mind if you're looking for a creepy-ass game on Switch, I'm looking forward to this creepy-ass game on VR. And I know we had previously mentioned Final Fantasy X, and y'all know that I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake right now on stream. We've got a little bit of news on the Final Fantasy VII Remake, as well as some downloads or DLC. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see if we can figure this out together. Final Fantasy the Remake Integrade, which is going to be an upgraded version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, has revealed that a new episode called the Yuffie episode will only be available through digital download, even for people who purchase physical copies of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Episode Yuffie features all new playable characters and bridges the gap between the first and second parts of Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is going to be released on June 10th of 2021, and from what I can understand, the Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrade is going to be an enhanced and expanded version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and if you purchase the whole bundle, the Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate bundle, and you didn't own any in the past, any version of the Final Fantasy VII Remake in the past, you will get the episode Yuffie included in your purchase. However, if you're one of those who, like me, have already gotten your copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you're looking to download the Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate upgrade, wow, that's a lot of grades, you'll be able to do so for free. In fact, everybody who already has a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, whether it is the physical copy or the downloaded copy or the free copy they offered through the PlayStation Store, you will be able to upgrade to Integrate for free. However, if you previously own a copy of Final Fantasy VII, you will have to pay a nominal fee to get that downloadable content that includes episode Yuffie. So, a confusing story that we had to throw out there just because I had to get this figured out in my own mind. This Remake Integrate is not the next iteration of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So let's be clear on that. This is merely an upgraded version of Final Fantasy VII Remake that includes just a smidgen of extra content that is this episode Yuffie. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Is this a good idea? Are you excited for the Integrate upgrade? Do you wish we could just buy the Yuffie DLC by itself? Let me know in the comments down below. The last story of the night, certainly not the least story of the night. I don't know why I said it that way, but I did. Fall Guys Season 4, I think this might even be Season 4.5 update, is upon us, has arrived, and honestly, I thought it was fun as hell. The Fall Guys Season 4.5 update did come about as of May 13th, and the new name of this 4.5 update is Dave. They've named their update Dave. The main additions that Season 4.5 update brings to the table are two new rounds. One of them is called Slime Scraper, which is kind of like a sequel to the Slime Climb, and the other one is called Button Bashers, which splits players into pairs that must duel it out and see who can smash buttons better. The patch will also bring 55, that's right, 55 new variations to the game's many modes across all 12 rounds. Super excited to play more of this, and we actually got our buddy Morbid Corpsey to purchase this game, so we'll be playing more of this on stream in the future. Pretty pumped. All right, guys. As always, you guys have been with me through this entire freaking ride. We made it to the end of the newscast. I've got editing ahead in my schedule, but that's okay. I love doing this for you guys because even if I bring you one single piece of information that you didn't know before, well then dang it, I did my job. As always, guys, my name's thumbspazm. This has been Thumb on the Pulse, our weekly news segment where we let you guys know what we learned by keeping our thumbs on the pulse. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you for all the support. If you could be so kind, click that like button, maybe leave a comment down below after you hit that subscribe button, and then click that bell so you get notifications to every video I post. I love you beautiful beings so very, very much. We'll see you next time, all right? And this completely let's try it one more time. And this completely wow, that's gonna make it into the blooper reel. Included in the ongoing Apple. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here because this is where we get into the nitty gritty here. God, and I am warm. Should have kept the AC on. I'm getting redder and redder as the news goes on. I'm super pumped, and this is why we do the news. This is why we do the news.